All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 398 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Is way out of line.
Remember I told you guys that I stopped eating fast food? Haven't had any fast food since December. I think there was actually just one slip up, as they call it, and that was recently. That was after I went to that John Fogerty show. How y'all doing? You know that guy. How you? Okay. Anyway, so after that John Fogerty show, me and the older boy, he goes, "Can we go to McDonald's?" We were hungry. All we had was like one slice of pizza, 2 cans of water. That's right, cans of water. Cost, I don't know, like $45 or $35, something like that. 2 terrible slices of pizza. I mean, you could have gone and bought like something out of the store brand pizza out of the freezer at any grocery store and popped it in the oven and then eaten the box, right? And it would have been better than this. And these expensive ass cans of water, like I don't know what it's called, Liquid Death or something. Anyway, so we were hungry. He goes, "Can we go through McDonald's?" On the way home, he goes, "Can we go through McDonald's?" He bought me a McDouble. I needed something to fill the void, and I had this. That was the first time. That was just recently. But the other night, I was at work, and I've been pretty good. I've been very good, actually, about taking my lunch to work. But it was a Friday. I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything to bring to for lunch. So I thought, Chick-fil-A sounds pretty damn good. It's been since December since I've had any fast food at all. If you take that one McDouble out of the equation. And for better or worse, I do not consider Jimmy John's fast food. Okay? I don't know if I'm fooling myself. I do have Jimmy John's quite a bit. But, I haven't had any, like, burgers or anything like that, French fries, any of that shit, since December. All right, so I thought maybe I'll go over to, why not? I'm not, I don't know, you can bend the rules every once in a while. So I went over there on a Friday evening, and I ordered a number one, which is just the chicken sandwich, and cross-thatch fries. And then sweet tea, of course. I always get sweet tea. They have great sweet tea there because they're Southern. They're a Southern restaurant chain, and they know how to do sweet tea. You ever had sweet tea from McDonald's, Mister? You got diabetes. You are gonna come down with diabetes, drinking those big old giant. I don't know what they are, 48 ounce. I don't know what the hell. That sweet stuff, mercy, too much. They don't know. They don't know how to calibrate it. But anyway, so excuse me. I always get the sweet tea there, and I added a small side of macaroni and cheese. All right, so it was like $14. I was like, what the $14? What in the hell? No, the best thing, one of the best things, it's probably good for me not to eat that garbage. And the other good thing is it's expensive as shit. It's unbelievable. It's shockingly expensive. Taking lunch every day and not eating that kind of stuff every day, it saves like tons of money a week. So anyway, but I thought, well, it's Friday. I don't want to start getting into that. It's Friday. I'll go get some fast food. I don't want to start that crap. But anyway, so I ate it. It was good. I'm not going to say, no, it was, it turns out that, I just don't even enjoy it anymore. People say that. Full of shit. People are liars. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not being fair, but I ate it. It was delicious, just like I remembered it. Maybe even better, because it's been so long. So anyway, I gobbled that down. Their macaroni and cheese is fantastic. If you haven't had it, whew, mercy. Highly recommend it. The cross thatch, those things are good. Everything. I'm a big fan of Chick-fil-A. All right, so that I ate it, and as I was leaving, throwing my trash away, I could feel the sodium. I'm kind of susceptible to sodium. I don't know. I could just feel it like doing something to my blood pressure or something. I don't know what it is, but I could actually feel I could just feel like the effects of the sodium load, And when I was driving back to work, I was like, I don't feel too good, I mean, that stuff's disgusting, I mean, that's I don't know. It's so expensive. My God, $14. I mean, that's insane. Everybody's like, I know people are bitching on social media about the price of everything, especially fast food, or not especially, but including fast food, and these assholes who don't want to admit that there's any kind of problem. They have some kind of agenda. They're like, apparently you're not able to do the, I think the prices are posted. So I don't know why you're surprised. Is math a problem for you? These kind of things. Stick it up your ass, buddy. Pack it deep and on a slant. All right. So anyway, my blood pressure or something, I felt like I felt all weird and wonky the rest of the day. That's amazing. I'm going to try to not eat it at all. I'm going to try to go back to not eating it at all. I only had one of them was kind of like an emergency type thing where it was late at night and we were hungry, and what choices do you have? That was the McDouble, and again, delicious. I'm not going to say, and it was disgusting. It was gross. I don't even like it anymore. I mean, I don't even know. It doesn't even taste good. Bullshit. It tastes great. All right, and then but Friday it was premeditated. I was like, I think I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A, and it was good. I enjoyed it until afterwards. The sodium load was about to take me out. Yesterday, speaking of healthy eating, I went over there to the grocery store, and I do my little because Tony won't buy any. She won't buy snacks, or she won't buy stuff, like that kind of stuff. So I have to do a snack run. I have to do like a weekly snack run, and I have to pay for it out of my own funds. She buys out of the household fund. I get a little stipend every week. So I had to buy it out of my own funds, and I go in there and I got some I get chips. Sometimes I get ice cream. Sometimes I get toaster strudel. I often get hot dogs. Burke's. Are you familiar with this brand? Burke's brand hot dogs. Really good. They're really good. And depends on what else is going on. I like coleslaw on my hot dogs. It's a West Virginia thing, so I usually get some creamy coleslaw from the deli, and that's generally what I get. I get that kind of stuff, and it's probably none of it's very good for you. I like the ice cream. I do. I'm a big fan of ice cream. I like toaster strudel. Sometimes when it's like late at night, you just need something. Pop those babies in. Hits the spot. Can't go wrong with the strudel. Anyway, so I went over there and got the Burke's hot dogs, and yesterday I was making a sort of version of the West Virginia hot dog. The West Virginia hot dog is mustard, onions, chili, or they call it hot dog sauce. So mustard, onions, sauce, if you want to use the local terminology, and coleslaw. But I don't have any. I don't have any mustard. I don't have any sauce. I mean, if I sometimes I go out and buy like a can of chili or something, or sometimes they have actual hot dog sauce in a can. It's a pain in the ass, and I just don't. So I go without that. I like it. I mean, I like it when I'm not gonna. I don't like having to heat up something extra and all this stuff. So I go without it. So I had mustard chopped up. I chopped up an onion, and I put coleslaw on it. It's really good, really good. So I doctored up my 2 dogs, got it all ready. It was a thing of beauty. They were sitting there before me, and I was like, "Look at that thing of beauty." And then I snapped the lid shut on the mustard, and it shot like almost like a shotgun blast of mustard particles right in my face. I was like, "Oh my God!" I think some of it. It's a wonder none of it went in my eye. I can't imagine getting shot with mustard in the eye. This is just yellow mustard, but it was like a scatter shot of mustard in my face when I snapped the little flip top lid on the thing. I don't recommend that. I don't really. And then I felt like I could smell it the rest of the day. I went in the bathroom and washed my face, and I tried to make sure, but I felt like I could smell it the rest of the day. I'm like, is that mustard? Might have been in my head. I don't know. But it was, I don't recommend. Let's see. Oh, one more thing before we get in the main thing. Every once in a while, recently, over the last few weeks, I come home from work late at night. It's usually 11, 10:30, 11, somewhere in that neighborhood, midnight sometimes. It's never the same. It's not. I don't have a job where it's all right, quitting time, like slide down the dinosaur tail like Fred Flintstone. I don't have that kind of job. I have a job where you go in there and you react to whatever kind of crazy ass situation's going on, and you just deal with it until you reach a point where you can quit. So there's no there's no consistency to when I get out of there. I'm supposed to get out of there at 8:30. That never happens. Literally never. Never. But anyway, so when I get home late at night, 10:30, 11, 12, the garage door is often open, standing wide open. Irritates the shit out of me. Just close the door. I mean, I bitch about it to everybody. And I know it wakes up everybody when I go in there and hit the button to make it close it, because it's pretty loud. It's attached to the house, and there's bedrooms right up against it. The 2 bedrooms where people are sleeping are basically right up against the garage. So when you hit that thing, it's like, it shakes the whole end of the house and wakes everybody up. They need to put the garage door down. That's the thing. All right, and then I bitch about it, and Tony's like, "What does it matter?" I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "We can't have that thing stand." So for one thing, you're just asking for somebody to steal something. So there's bicycles in there, there's shit in there that can be stolen. I said, why? I said, why? See, I said, so you're telling me that you're campaigning for leave it up, like 24 hours a day, I guess? That's not what I'm saying. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I said, it is a big deal. Recently she opened the garage door. She went out there, Tony, went out there and opened the garage door to take the trash out, I think. I don't remember what she was doing. So she raised the garage door up. A big old raccoon came out. It was like trapped inside the garage. See, that's what happens. They leave the garage door open all the time, like all the time. And then critters get in there, and then they get trapped. Because when I come home, I'm like, here we go, the garage door standing wide open again, And I close it, and there's a raccoon in there, So she opened the thing, and the thing, she said it didn't even run out. It just kind of walked out like do-de-do, do-de-do. That's what it was doing. And I said, that's because you guys leave the garage door open all the time. Like, why? I feel like I just don't understand it. I don't understand the conversations I have with people that don't care about things and care about other things that shouldn't give two thoughts about. You know, like the priorities are all mixed up. I don't know. It's the younger boy rides his bike. He goes out for these long bike rides, and he never pushes the button. All you have to do is push the button, just like push it down, and it'll close. This is not a hardship. This is not a hardship on anybody. Just push it. Take your index finger, push it, and the garage door will come down. It's very easy. I mean, it couldn't be easier. But does it happen? No, it does not. So anyway, it irritates me. Everybody thinks I'm an insane person, but shit irritates me. I mean, I don't know. I know it's like a cliche of some old man dad bitching about turn these lights off and all that stuff, but that shit irritates me. I don't like the garage door standing open. It bugs me. And everybody knows, and nobody does anything. Makes no adjustments. Like, all right, Pops. God, who's with me on this? All right. So anyway, I do have a main topic here. I was talking to my brother the other day about memorable neighbors when we were kids. And the most memorable of them all, when we lived on 17th Street, which we moved there when I was in 5th grade. Hang on a second, let me take this hit off this. Oh, my God, my throat's all messed up. All right, so in 5th grade, we moved from 21st Street to 17th Street. So when we lived on 17th Street, there were these people that lived right across the street from us, a man and a woman. They were named Beulah and Delbert. And they were the man, well, I guess both of them, but especially Delbert, was really into like ham radio, and CB radio. On his garage out behind their house, he had these gigantic antennas. They were huge. I mean, it felt like he was running. I don't know what he's doing back there, running some kind of Mexican radio. I don't know. It's like south of the border. I don't know what he was doing over there, but he was like really into all that stuff. And they were into CB radios. Out there talking on their radios all the time, and their handles were Cornflakes and Oatmeal. I can't remember which is which. I don't know if Beulah was Cornflakes and Delbert was Oatmeal, or vice versa. But anyway, so they lived right across the street from us. I don't know what was going on with those two, especially her. Although both of them there's something askew. Something was wrong with both of them, I think. I don't know. I never could get a handle on it. I think she was crazy. I don't know, or had mental problems of some sort. I think he might have just been really stupid. I know that sounds mean, but I'm just trying to describe the situation. I was just trying to describe it, And I don't know, but they used to sit on the porch. They had this glider out there. They would sit out on the porch year-round. They'd be out there in the middle of winter wearing winter coats and knit caps and stuff, just all bundled up, sitting on that glider, sitting out on the porch, and just sitting there for hours and hours. Oh, my God, this phone. I can't turn it off because I got some kind of issue. Okay, anyway. So they used to sit on the porch for hours and hours. And one time, our house was like directly across the street from theirs, and they would sit. I remember one time they said, or maybe more than one time, they said, "Can you leave your front door open so we can see through your house and watch the people coming across the railroad tracks down at the crossing down there?" So they wanted us to leave. They wanted us to leave our front door open, so they have a better view. Because when we closed the main door, the heavy door, it would block. My parents are like, "Oh my God," So I don't know what that was about. But they were always out there. Every time you go out there, man, they were keeping track of what's going on in the neighborhood. They knew the comings and goings of everybody. sat out there side by side. Doesn't matter what the weather is, they're out there. If they're not out there, they're out in the garage, taking on the persona of Cornflakes and Oatmeal. I don't know what the hell's going on. And Beulah, at some point, she got it in her head. She used to get these, she was paranoid about stuff. And she got it in her head that my grandfather, I think that's what it was. My brother says it's my grandmother. But the way I remember it is that she had it in her head that my grandfather was spying on her through the window while she was getting dressed and taking a shower or whatever, So, which is hilarious if you knew these people, right? If you knew my grandfather, for one thing. But my brother remembers it as my grandmother trying to sneak a peek at Delbert. Either way, it's hilarious. So she went and she painted all the windows on that side of the house black, all the way down that side of the house, the side that bordered my grandparents' house. My grandparents lived right next door to them. So she painted all those windows black because she thought that either my grandfather or my grandmother was spying on them, trying to get some kind of a thrill out of those two. And I mean, if you knew what these people look like, you'd get the humor in that. Also, she was convinced that there were people under her house pumping poisonous gas into their house. She went through periods where she was convinced that there were people under, pumping gas into her house, I don't know what the hell that's all about. I think they sort of believed my grandparents might have been involved in this gassing operation. What the hell? It's unbelievable. One time my mother told me that she wanted me to start mowing their lawn. This is after Delbert passed away. At some point he died. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember what happened with him, but he died at some point. And Beulah was over there living by herself. And my mom said, "You need to start mowing her lawn." I said, "What? Why? Why me? Out of all the people in the world, all the people in the U.S. of A., why me?" She goes, "You just need to do it." I said, "I don't want to mow." I said, I hate mowing our lawn. Sometimes I'd have to mow our lawn and at my grandmother's lawn, and now I got to do Beulah's lawn too. I hate it. It sucks. She goes, "Just do it. I don't want to hear any bitching, So I went over there and I mowed it. I mowed it. It's not a huge yard, but it's a mess. I mean, they didn't take care of it. And there's giant bushes everywhere. The place is overgrown. It's hard to mow. So I mowed it a few times. She was bitching at me. "You don't do it right. You don't know how to do it." Why don't you do it, you old bag? What the hell? I don't want to do this anyway. God, why am I out of all the people in America? Why me? She's giving me a bunch of shit about it. So, and then she said, "You didn't mow on the sides of the house, down the sides. It's like this narrow little strip between there's a chain link fence and the house. I mean, it's barely wide enough to walk down. It's like a real narrow strip all the way down through there." I said, "I can't get to it." I said, "This big ass bush. I mean, what the hell? How am I supposed to get a lawnmower over there?" She goes, "It's not my problem. It needs to be mowed." I'm like, oh my God. So she's giving me a bunch of crap. I'm helping her out. I'm helping this lady out against my will, and she's giving me a bunch of crap about it. So I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I mean, I can't. So I ended up having to take the lawnmower up on their porch and start it and drop it, because there's a gigantic bush that blocked the entry. You couldn't get down through there. So I'd have to go up on the porch, start the lawnmower, drop it while it's running off the porch. You talk about dangerous. And drop it down in there and just take it down the side of the thing. And she's like, bitch, and you gonna weed whack? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't like what am I, your butler or something? I know she was an old lady. She was grouchy, and she was always not a positive word out of her mouth. Just always just bitching and correcting people, and I don't know. There's something wrong with her. I don't know what her deal was, and she wasn't super nice. She had her moments where she was relatively okay, but she was often not. And so I did that a couple times. She bitched about it and complained. She goes, "Forget it. I'll get somebody else to do it." I said, "Thank God." Bullet dodged. I don't know what she did. I think she had to hire somebody. That was a piece of shit yard. I don't know what you want me to do. Why is it up to me out of all the people in America? Why me? So anyway, yeah. And I remember one time, I jotted down some things here. I remember one time, after Delbert passed away, she would call a cab every once in a while. And this guy would pull up. I remember his name was Gary. And I don't know, he's a cab driver in Dunbar. That's how big of a town it was. You know the name of the cab driver's name. The Gary is the cab driver. I mean, I never was in a cab in my life, I don't think, until I moved out of West Virginia. I don't think I was ever in a cab in West Virginia. I can tell you that much. But some people don't have cars or whatever, so she used to call a cab and take her to the grocery store. And I remember one time Gary pulls up in the Curry taxi and takes her somewhere, and she comes back with a few items, and Gary grabs this 50-pound bag of onions and carries them into her house for her. It's like this big ass, gigantic bag, like an industrial, like for a restaurant size bag of onions. She weighs about, 95 pounds, real old, lives by herself. What the hell? I mean, just so much crazy shit went on over there. It was an insane asylum. One time my dad, wherever he lives, it doesn't matter wherever he lives, he's got neighbors asking him to help out with stuff, like all the time. And she was always asking my dad to help her do something. He's much nicer than I am. I don't remember my dad going, "Why me? Why?" He would help her. He's a nice guy. He'd go over there and help her do something. He was over there one time inside the house doing something for her. I don't know. The sink was dripping or leaking. I don't know. She would call him like my dad was her personal handyman. And my dad was like, "How you doing today, Beulah?" And she goes, "Oh, John, not so good. I got the drop bladder. I think my bladder's falling out of my vagina." And my dad's like, "Whoo, oh God, oh, that doesn't sound good." And he couldn't believe it. My bladder is falling out of my vagina. So he came back and told that story, and everybody thought that was hilarious. She's got the drop bladder. It's falling out her vagina. I don't know. I just don't know. One day we were, me and my brother and my dad, we saw the paramedics were over there, which wasn't unusual. She was also a hypochondriac. So they were hauling her out of there, and she was all bundled up wearing, it looked like she was wearing like 5 knit caps, like three jackets, she's all bundled up. They had her on one of those, those rolling gurneys, They stuck her in the ambulance, or, as they say down south, ambulance. And they hauled her ass away. We were over there making all kinds of comments. We were doing all three of us were looking out the window at this spectacle, And we were doing a running commentary, which is what we used to do. And we never saw her again. We were like we were laughing about it, but we never saw her again. She had a son who was, I don't know, the story was, and this is just hearsay, that he was, there's something wrong with him too. And supposedly there was some inbreeding going on. Maybe the father was Beulah's brother. I don't know. The whole thing just gives me the heebie-jeebies. But he was one of these guys. Like if you ever lived in a small town, there's these people that are just there that wander around, and there's something wrong with them. There's something's messed up. But they're just around town. Everybody knows them, and people almost kind of protect them. His name was Harry, and he was always around town. And my dad knew him because he was a fireman. My dad was a fireman, and this guy would hang out at the fire department. They used to have people that just hang out in there. And he would come in there. I don't know what his deal was. He had, I don't know what his situation was. He was kind of, I don't know, semi-retarded or something. I don't know, are you allowed to say that anymore? Yeah, something along those lines. And he used to call our house looking for my dad, and he'd go, "Is the old redheader there? Is the old redheader there?" I'm like, what the hell's that? My dad doesn't have red hair. We just knew that he was asking about my dad. He called my dad the old redheader. He didn't have red hair. I don't know. But anyway, he was her son. And around Thanksgiving Day, we have this in Dunbar. We have this football game. It's been going on for 75 years or something, called the Commode Bowl. It's this ridiculous thing that happens every Thanksgiving. The Hillside Rams versus the River Rats. If you live on one side of the railroad tracks, you're Hillside. If you live on the other side, you're Riverside. And they form a team. Both sides form a team. There's a football game down at the high school. There's a big. There used to be a big deal. But then they'd have this big parade through town. Harry was Beulah's son. An adult son was the he was the what do you call it, grand marshal of the thing, and he'd be sitting up on this giant toilet. Hoisted up on this giant toilet in the back of a pickup truck, waving plungers in the air. And everybody's like, and he's like, I don't know, something wrong with him, and everybody's cheering. He's up there sitting atop the toilet, waving plungers. Everybody's applauding. It's a very bizarre place I lived in. So let's see, do I have any more notes? Oh, my brother reminded me of this. We had this dog named Scooby. He was an Australian Terrier. There was something also wrong with him. I don't know. He was also something mentally askew with that dog. But we loved him. He was, he's a good guy. But when we get home, like if we'd leave him, if he was home alone, and then somebody would return, he would get so excited. He'd start yelping and jumping around, and he just got super excited whenever we got home. And Beulah said, "Why do you guys beat that poor dog?" We're like, "What?" Every time when you get home, as soon as you get home, you start beating that dog. Like, what in the hell? I said, nobody's beating him. He's just happy to see us. No, you guys are beating him. Poor guy. Seems like a good dog. Why do you? As soon as you get home, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be any of the four of you. As soon as you get home, you start beating him. Like, what the hell? There's no beating. Are you serious? We love Scooby. He's the finest dog known to humanity. Except for, there are a few little small things. Anyway, we didn't beat him, but anyway. So I just thought I'd talk to you about Beulah. Talking about memorable neighbors. We have some memorable neighbors next to us, but they're mean. I don't want to get into that. Mama half shirt, Papa half shirt. Ugh. I don't know. But have you had any super memorable neighbors? They could be positive, or they could be negative, they could be weird, they could be whatever. If you want to share the story, give me a call. The number is 570-290-8151. Call me around the clock. It doesn't have to be about that subject. It can be about any subject. But if you have any memorable neighbor stories to tell, I'd like to hear them. 570-290-8151. Also, if you want 2 episodes a week instead of a measly one, you can do that by heading over to patreon.com. It's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll help me out a lot, and you'll get an extra episode every week. So if you're interested in that, if you want to double down on the Surf Report podcast, do it today. Patreon.com/Jeff K. And surfreportpod.com is the web home of the podcast. Check that out as well. And we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side. Hope you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye. The garage door standing wide open again.